Hi there, welcome to my hobby bench. My name is Ken, and today we're going to start building our Klingon Bird of Prey from AMT. In the last video we went over our parts, but since then I've received the Tenant Controls Klingon Katinga lighting kit. Technically not meant for this model, but it is a Klingon model, and it does have the sound that I was looking for. So this is kind of what you get in the package. So in here we have a speaker that I'll mount down in the base. They give us our power adapter. We have our LED lights, plug in for our adapter, buttons, there we go. And then in here, we have our actual board. There we go, with all our lighting cables in here. So this will be the second model ever that I've lit, and I'm hoping the instructions here can help guide me and we can get this successfully done. So it does have the wiring diagrams in here, as well as information for, there is an A board and a B board depending which company it's from, and I have an A board. So I'll be only needing the A company board information, and I can skip the B board information. So there we go. That's our lighting kit. I look forward to getting that installed. I come back, we'll start looking at putting the pieces of the model kit together. Alright, now if we were actually building along with the instructions here, we'd be doing our vent grills here, or cooling grills, or I guess radiators they call them. And yeah, that's where we'd be starting. We'd pick out which one of these sets we need out of the three, and we would carry on like that. However, because I'm not using these radiators, I'm going to be using ones from this fruit pack. I am actually not going to do that right now, so I'm going to skip that step. And I'm going to kind of go through the instructions here and just cherry pick what I'm going to do for using a lot of this stuff. So I could work on my blasters, or I guess, sorry, that would be the phaser cannons, they call them. I would say disruptors, either way. And yeah, I could start working on some of these other parts. Other things I'm going to be looking at doing too is cutting out the windows so we can get our lighting through there. So then I'm going to get started with the weapons. Not being too worried about being gentle with this part in here, because it's all getting replaced. So here we have our instructions for putting on the photo-etch. It's showing us what we need to remove, and then we'll be looking at our other parts we want to attach to each other, and then attach it to the actually wing parts. So we'll start on with removing the bits we need to get rid of. So according to the instructions, we want to remove all the way up to this dome part right here, and then anything of that forward will be gone. Okay, so as you can see by looking at the diagram here, they actually need us to take a little bit of this material out from the inside in between here. So kind of down in here. So I'll see what I have and I'll see if I can get in there and I'll let you know. I'm just gonna use a file to kind of get in here and clear that out a bit. When I go to put the piece back in, I can see if I need to remove any more material. Okay, so here we have our main disruptors parts. So kind of the end barrel of the main disruptor. We have the tubes coming out, and of course we have this, which we're going to have to remove. And it's got these little pipes, the 7D, which goes on the outside, and which you can kind of see right here on the instructions, 7D, and then the other side will be 8D, right there, and then we have the base that attaches back to the wing. So let's get these off their sprue mounts and get into building these disruptors. Alright, to remove them, I'm going to be using just this little micro saw. I have this saw set from UMM, USA. It comes with several different blades. Actually, sorry, I believe they're all the same blades. So it comes with 2 extras. And I'm just going to use this here to saw these parts off. Now remember, working with resin, it's not good for you. You want to wear a face mask. And in the case of this, I could actually cut and use water as well at the same time to keep any dust down, because it's the dust you don't want to breathe. So I'm gonna get my mask on and put a little water here and get to cutting these off. And the same for sanding. You do some wet sanding to take it down. Now I do have my concerns that we'll get rid of all this between this part here. But I think if I just work at it slowly with a sharp hobby knife or even maybe a little bit of a saw, I should be able to, yeah, scrape it out of there. I think I already broke through. piece. Now, even though it does have this thicker support here, you look in the instructions, it's not there. So I do have to remove that. Just the one support right there. I went through really easy. Let me come at it from this angle, so I don't punch all the way through into my really thin pipe there. There's the second one removed. You just kind of have to be patient with us. Work at it slowly. I mean, yes, I could probably push through on one easy push, but I don't want to cut through my pipe if I can help it. There we go, that's that third. I'm just going to remove this brace right here. Now that I kind of have it scored, see if I'm going to make any more forward progress with this. Well, unfortunately for these parts here, the 7D and the 8D, they don't show you how much of this needs to be cut off, because it does come off of the sprue here, or the casting block, and I don't know how much of this and of that needs to be removed, and also how close do we need to be to the pipe with these pegs here. I'm assuming we need to just be right up to the very edge, so that's what I'm going to go with. Some water down. cleaned up. So with the second one here, I got the parts all taken off and kind of cleaned up here, so I'm just going to reassemble them into the other disruptor. Part is in the next piece is in place. There we go. Now we have our two disruptor cannons. Alright, next is these smaller barrels. This should be a little more straightforward. You're just replacing the ones that we cut off earlier. So here we are with our guns completed now. To make sure that they were straight here along the barrel, what I did was I kind of lined it up with this detail here. And all I did would be take my file here and just kind of run the body of the file right along there. It just kind of fits nicely in this little detail. And then I just check. Oh, let's move my file into position better. And I would just check and make sure that the gun barrel is straight along that line. And I just did that with both of them. Like that again. And then tilt it. And yeah, that's pretty good. I'm happy with it. And we got our secondary guns here. And really the difference you see here is amazing. Like these green strawberry parts are, I'd say, well worth it, and I'm very happy. So the next part's going to be putting on the photo etch on here once everything's dried up. All right, we have our gun parts attached. So these are our disruptors, or as the model kit's calling them, phasers. Yeah, I haven't connected these two parts together yet, but they're looking really good. They're on there really nice. Yeah. So next up is going to be the photo etch. So there's a little bit of photo etch that's going to go around here, kind of like a protective shield. So we'll go through here and get these parts assembled and put on the weapons platform. so we get these parts here, number 23, and you just fold them over and kind of glue them together. There's one. Another one done just like that. Get our next parts ready. So that was that step there. Move on here and we'll get part 43 and part 40. Okay, so next in here they want us to take 43 and bend it. Looks to be about a 90-degree angle, I think, what they're trying to show. And then we'll attach 40 onto that. So you could use a photo-etch bender, or I have a photo-etch bending tool here from Tamiya. I can just take this and put it around the line and just bend. There we go, just like that. Then we will take this part here and we can just glue it on to the surface here. Now if you're worried about super glue biting too quickly, something else you can use that works just as well, it takes longer to dry, is like a white glue. This is micro scales, micro clear, crystal clear. So I could use that. Myself a toothpick, just like that. Take my photo-etch, and just a nice thin layer. You don't want too thick because it's just gonna gush out. Take that. Gives me some time to mess around with it a little bit, get it kind of set exactly how I want it, which sometimes can be an issue with super glue because it'll bite in right away and then you really can't move your stuff around. So there we go. So there's our part. So we'll put that aside to dry. Alright, next one done. Put that there. We got those. And once we have these parts completed, as they had us do, we will look at putting these on. So let's see here. Okay, to actually glue the photo-etch to the resin here, I'm going to actually use a CA glue this time. Put this piece right in here. Just like that. So there we go. That's that part attached. Now we'll make sure this area here is cleaned out a little bit more. Let's use my file. I'll try to fit this part in here. That is the problem with big fingers. Handling the small parts is a little more difficult. Okay, so let's see if we can fit that in there. I think it will fit just fine. Double check though. I just wanted to see if some of this narrow stuff was sticking out beyond this plane here. So it does, according to the directions. So I believe I'm ready to glue that in. Again, I could use the white glue or the super glue. So choice is yours. I'm going to use a little bit of my super glue again. take my apart. And just push that in. There we go. There we go. That's the gun assembly. Looking nice. So I'm going to carry on and finish the other side. Okay, here's our finished guns. I think they're looking really nice. Just need to be glued together technically. I'm just have them clamped just to see how they turned out. And I have to say I am very happy, and I think they'll look really good on our bird of prey. Some points to note on building this. I had to go back and retrace some of my steps. I wasn't paying close enough attention. When it comes to assembling these, make sure that when you're attaching number 78, this long tube right here, that when it's attaching to this joint part down in here, there is a small hole right above the big hole. So the big hole is where the big tube goes. The little hole is where this little tube goes. You gotta make sure you have that set up the right way, because the big tube here does have some mounting points for the little tube. So you have to make sure it's pointed the right direction. And it seems to have a little bit of a slight cant out on the very end of the disruptors. So I think that is desired because of the angle of what the wings will be. So we'll find out for sure. And other than that, the attaching of the joint part here on the instructions to the actual kit part. And you have to make sure that you get that right up close to the edge here. You don't want it sitting further back. I had to disconnect a couple times and get it set kind of just right. Both your smaller barrels on the other side here should be flanking this main barrel here on the disruptor. So you get your two flanking ones, and then you got your main one here. So I hope that clears any confusion that I had, but in the end, just with a little bit of patience and a little bit of debonder for super glue, I was able to make it work. So I think the results are amazing, and I'm looking forward to using the rest of this. Okay, next we're gonna try and do this step here, number 7, and this is just applying the resin. I think I was calling them dorsal fins, just kind of on the rear of the ship here. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to saw off the original a little bit, and then we can attach our replacement ones. So just feeling, yeah, this resin one just even just aside from the details alone, just it feels a little bit thinner even, maybe. I could be wrong, but yeah. So I'm gonna take my little hobby saw here. I don't know who makes this. I think it's just a generic one I picked up in a hobby store at one point. Really fine teeth. And yeah, we'll start cutting through here. There we go. That's one cut off. I'm just gonna have to come in with a sander, maybe a little bit of a sprue cutter now, and trim that up and get it nice and flush. And then we can look at replacing it. Okay, I've got this cleaned up here. You can just see this just white plastic looking thing here, just from where I was trimming it, and then I've sanded it down. But the good thing about this is it does show me how far up this needs to go. So I went to remove this from the sprue, and all I did was I gave it a little bit of a snip right along the cut line, and then the whole thing just snapped right off. So it was really pretty easy. I just gave it a quick little sand, and it does have a slight angle to it, so you should be able to tell which is left, which is right, so you can have it angled down a bit to kind of match the profile. So I'm going to get the other one ready as well, and then I'll mix up some epoxy, and I'll get them stuck into place. So here we have our part cleaned off now and ready to have our fins attached. So I'm going to mix up some 15-minute epoxy. There we go. Now, make sure we have the right parts for the right side, just for the angle. That's what we're looking for. So I'll take some of my epoxy. Let's kind of apply it along here. I don't want too much. I don't want to leave big gunky blobs. So there we go. So we'll take this. Oh, the other way. The other way, small pointy end to the back. What I'm gonna do is get myself a little bit of my masking putty here. I just stick it in behind there. There's my putty. There we go. How do I feel about that angle? I kind of like that. I think that's a good angle. Okay, now that we've completed our dorsal fins and our disruptors here, they're looking really nice. Again, thanks Green Strawberry. You guys do some really good work. Next up, I'm going to move on to, in here, stage 11, which has us drilling out or removing the detail on our lights here and adding the photo etch. So to do that, you can see here I have my two wings where the lights go. And this side here has the holes already in place. This side here, they're not molded, so it's something we're going to have to work on drilling out, and then we're going to remove our detail, and we can look at adding our photo etch, and that way we'll have our lights ready. So I'm going to get into that now. So the tool I'm going to try using first here is the Tamiya Toolcraft handy drill. So nice little piece of equipment here. Feel free to go get one. You actually get to build it as a model, so that's always interesting. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to open this up just a little bit here more, so I can get my drill bit down to the bottom of where this hole is. And then once I can do that, I'm going to mark off on the drill bit with some tape how deep it goes, and then when I come drilling over here, I shouldn't go too deep then. So let's try that. Perfect. I didn't even have to really drill it out. It's kind of set to that level. So I'm going to take some Tamiya tape, mark off the right depth, and once I have this tape on here, I'm also going to double check that it is set to the right depth. Okay. So there we have my tape, and it. Let me zoom in for you here. So if you can see here, my tape and my drill bit, and once I get that in the hole, that's where the tape kind of ends. And then that way, when I'm drilling down on the other side, it should help me preventing going through too far. Okay, so next up I'm going to mark where I need to put my holes. For that I'm just going to use, I have a little scribing tool here, it's just a little fine point that you can see here. So I can just on my point and make a little divot so I know where my drill should start. Okay, it's going to be a little bit hard to see, but I did put a couple little dots in there that I marked in with that tool, just so I have a start point for my drill bit. Then we'll come in, put my drill bit on that point. There we go. Get in closer, make sure I'm getting to the right area. There we go. Now I'm going to take the Tamiya router. I can get in here and clean that out a bit. So as you can see here, I have a hole, and I've gone in here and I'm making it a little bit bigger with the router. It should hopefully be good enough to put a little light in. We'll move on to the next hole. So here I have some 0805 warm white pre-wired SMDs here. So I'm going to see if they will fit in there. See how they fit. First we'll check out these ones. Yeah, that should be no problem fitting in these holes whatsoever. Yeah, that'll work just nicely. And the holes I've made, oh yeah, that should work. Oh yeah, those will work just fine. Alright, so what I can do now is I can work at removing this front detail and getting that photo etch on there. Just gonna try and sand these off, see how well that works first. Yeah, no, I think that's good. I got the main little nib off the end, and I'll just continue on. Okay, so I've kind of got most of it sanded down. Still got the circle there, but I got it nice and flat. And before I finish, I came in and I marked each one with a little center punch kind of mark here for my drill bit to start. So I can kind of come in here and drill in this way. So let's get to doing that. Okay, so I'm just going to double check. My hole's looking good for positioning. I'm just going to keep going a little bit at a time till I break through. Not forcing in, yeah, just a little bit of work, a little bit of pressure. There we go, just like that. We're through. So that's one. Again, it doesn't really matter that it kind of looks ugly on this side. It's going to get covered with that photo etch part. And plus we still have to sand down this last little bit of the raised rounded part. So I'm going to work on these other holes and I'll be back. So here we are with our photo etch, and we just need the 4 covers, photo etch part number 9. So we'll get those off and we'll get them attached. Okay, so here we are with our parts taken off the sprue, and they've been cleaned up to get rid of any burrs. Now I'm going to take and bend them. I'm just going to use my Tamiya bending pliers, and we'll get them attached here. To attach them, I'm just going to use some of my micro crystal clear. So let's give it a shot. So there we go, there's our part. Let's bend it over. There we go. Just going to give it a bit of a test fit there just to see how it looks. So there we go. It's kind of on the top, only goes back about that far. And if you can see that, just like there, has a little hole in it. So there we have it. So I'll get those all bent and put into place. Right here. And yes, we have light coming out. can see that on camera or not. And this one, yes, we have light coming out. So there we go. It's perfect. All right, so we know those work. We can move on to, I think our next step is going to be cutting open our windows. So I'm going to be starting off by drilling some little holes in there and connecting them. So I'll get that set up and we'll be right back. So here we are going to go to our windows. So I have a 0.7 millimeter drill bit here. I just have one of these Archer Tools drill bit sets. This drill bit set goes from 0.3 millimeters to 1.2 millimeters. And just by size, going through and pulling different sizes out and checking, I find that this 0.7 will probably be my best bet. So I'm going to kind of get in here, find my edge of my window. Now, some people use a Dremel. I've never really done cutting out windows before, so I'm a little bit hesitant to actually break out my Dremel and do this. So I'd rather kind of go in by hand and kind of go slowly, taking my time. Because really this is a hobby, and yeah, it's kind of a lot of times it's about the time you spend at your bench. You just have to be really careful with these drill bits because they will shear off quite easily. Just a little hole there, and I'll join the hole at the other end, and then I'll come back in here and try to get in there and cut it out with a blade. So I'll finish drilling in these holes here, and I'll come back. Okay, so here we have our first two windows kind of put into place here, just by drilling out and then cutting it out and cleaning it up. I'm going to move on to the rest of the windows, but I think that's going to do it for our time today. I'll continue off camera, putting holes in here to get some light through at our windows, and we'll see each other at the next episode. So thanks for joining me. You take care, and see you next time. Bye for now. Da-dum, da-dum, dun 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 dun. Oh, anyway.